What is up, wrestling fans? Welcome to another Pay-Per-Viewpoint edition of the Smark Out Moment Smack Talk podcast. This is the WWE 2017 Royal Rumble post-show, where we're going to be recapping what just transpired a few minutes ago and giving our thoughts about everything that just happened, positive, negative, somewhere in the middle. You're going to hear quite a bit of all three different realms here. The people that are going to be talking tonight are going to be myself, Tony Mango, your host, and joining me on the call is Sean Walker.
Fucking hated it.
You know, I don't want to start off super negative. I will say there are some great things that happened tonight. But there's going to be at least a point in this where everything is going to just get real sour. So, warning everybody, both Sean and I have some issues with some of the things that happened. And there might not be even the same things. Some of it we might agree on, might disagree on. We're gonna break it all down. But we're gonna start things off with some stuff that's not that bad. You know, then we'll get into some good stuff, then we'll get into some bad stuff after that. But the kickoff is the way we should start off, per usual, because we're gonna go pretty much in order of how everything went. And we started things off with 2 hours of a pre-show, which, I mean, some of it was just like recap stuff and some backstage segments and whatever. None of that really all that interesting. Dean Ambrose, again, talking about he wants a new Intercontinental title, although this time he was saying that he wanted it to be like a Stingray, which was just like, okay, it's a little bit weird. Please don't do that actual Stingray design, because we just got done with that whole butterfly title. Don't create another animal. But our first match was the 6-women tag team match. Naomi, Becky Lynch, and Nikki Bella were able to beat Alexa Bliss, Mickie James, and Natalya when Naomi pinned Alexa Bliss, which I'm okay with. It gives her a reason to kind of want to challenge Alexa Bliss in the future for the championship. Mickie James didn't lose. That would have been a way to make her kind of look shitty on her return. Becky Lynch didn't need to win it. Nikki Bella didn't need to win it. Like, nobody really needed it. But if anybody did need some kind of a boost, it was Naomi. So I'm okay with that. You weren't able to see this, correct?
I didn't watch it because I never watched the pre-shows.
Knowing what happens in the Raw tag team title match, are you leaning more towards that you probably should, or is it still just nah, fuck them?
Nah, fuck them because it's Raw.
Well, alluding to that, if you didn't see it, the Raw Tag Team Championship has changed hands. Luke Gallows and Karl Anderson defeated Cesaro and Sheamus, and they had a couple different fun spots in this match. One of them was, apparently they're calling the 619, that Cesaro does, the Swiss 19. Which is like, made me laugh. But we get new tag champs, and right when that happened, I was thinking to myself, you know what? They're going to be splitting up Cesaro and Sheamus again. I've been talking about this for a little bit, but I never really thought it was going to be too much of a guarantee, and now I think it pretty much is. A little bit later on, something happened. We'll get to that when we get to that, but do you like the idea that we have new tag champs?
Yes, but you and your guarantees are a bit iffy.
Well, after tonight...
Everybody gets free t-shirts.
Yeah, I'll send them out when... yeah, that'll happen. They surprised me. I mean, some stuff happened tonight that I was like, well, that could happen, and if that happens, then they'll clearly go this route, and then they went a completely different route after that and whatever, so... I don't know where they're going with some of this, but I do think that we are going to lead to Cesaro against Sheamus. Either a match at WrestleMania or Fastlane or something like that. More likely, I think, would happen at Fastlane. And then WrestleMania, they can just kind of be thrown into like the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal or something like that. But these guys aren't just going to like win the titles back. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And it's kind of about time that Gallows and Anderson won. They need it, you know?
6 months too late.
Yeah, I can kind of agree with that. I mean, I don't think that it was a mistake to give the New Day that whole record, but you can tell that they're kind of fast-forwarding their plans a little bit here. It was like, well, we can't do this Cesaro and Sheamus thing. We got to wait until they can do the record. Now, let's give them the titles, but crap, we didn't want them to be the champions heading into WrestleMania, so let's have them lose it real fast. That kind of a thing. But I'm okay with it. I would have been okay if they wouldn't have won it here and they would have won it at Fastlane, but I think you might as well just pull the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
We had the other third match on the pre-show was Sasha Banks versus Nia Jax, which
I actually
was...
watched this.
I didn't really think it was anything worth watching.
I watched it because it was on YouTube.
Yeah, the pre-shows are free. What did you think about it?
Fucking terrible.
I wouldn't go so far as to say terrible, but it's the worst match of the night, I think.
Oh god, no. We'll get on to that later on.
Do you think the Royal Rumble match was worst?
No.
Okay, so we're gonna have a little bit of a spat when it comes to whatever the other things were. Sasha Banks and Nia Jax is a feud I'm not interested in. And it was clearly something where they needed Nia Jax to win because she needs to look strong. And Sasha Banks is going to play up the role that she's the tiny one. And then they just kind of wait until the pin happens. It's sort of kind of pointless. So I wasn't really all that into it. It was fine enough that, I would have rather had this than have some kind of just like another KFC promo or some crap like that.
Oh god, the KFC promos. Make them stop.
But, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, that's not going to be something that I'm going to write home about and be like, oh, man, this great Nia Jax versus Sasha Banks kickoff thing. No, that really is not going to make any kind of a difference whatsoever.
It felt like a Raw match. That's how I'll describe it.
Yeah, basically. There wasn't really much separating it from that. But that's, for a pre-show thing, I'm okay with that.
I will admit something. I think this is the best I've seen Nia Jax look in the ring. But other than that, it was the same old, same old.
As far as like ring skills or just appearance?
Ring skills, not appearance. Ugh.
Well, then they did another thing on the pre-show. They had Stephanie McMahon announce that Seth Rollins has been banned from the arena, which immediately made me think, when is he going to show up? And he never did. They just didn't have him.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of sucks because I wanted to see him do that number one spot thing, and I wanted to see him be a factor somewhere in the mix, but they didn't have him do it at all. And that's... we've joked about before when I brought up the whole Chekhov's gun thing. This is clearly going to lead to something, and we know that it's going to lead to Triple H versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, but I thought it would have led to something at the Royal Rumble, too. Maybe he gets involved in one of the title matches, or he gets involved in the Royal Rumble, and then Triple H comes out to stop him, and they brawl, or something like that. Instead, just no appearance whatsoever. So that was underwhelming for me.
They need ratings for Raw tomorrow.
You think that's the reason why? They were just kind of like, dude, we're going to sacrifice you on the Royal Rumble card because we need somebody to have something going in the WrestleMania tomorrow, Raw tomorrow?
Yeah.
Could be. I'm starting to get a little bit concerned that maybe Seth Rollins is, like, injured or something. Because you got to think, he had that match against Sami Zayn, but maybe he needs, like, a couple of weeks off, and they were like, yo, how about we write you out of the Royal Rumble? That could be a way to rest you up a little bit. You can do something on TakeOver. We can kind of make a little bit more of the storyline out of that. I haven't heard anything about him being injured, so I'm just purely speculating. Could just be a storyline.
And then tomorrow they'll fake suspend him.
If something like that happens, which she said that she would be addressing that, if they suspend him and he doesn't wrestle at Fastlane, I think he's injured.
And they're covering it up.
Mm-hmm. Maybe a little nagging injury, nothing that's like super big, but they want to make sure that he doesn't get into the situation where they can't do the WrestleMania match. And they just kind of go like, look, let's just give you like a month off. You don't have to wrestle at Fastlane. You don't have to wrestle at the Royal Rumble. Take this time off, heal up, make sure that you're good for WrestleMania because that's the match that really matters. Last thing that they want to do is be in the position they were last year where everybody got injured right before WrestleMania and they had to scramble at the end and everything like that.
Yeah.
So I'm getting suspicious about that.
Well, like I said, I think I said it to you guys, or I said it to somebody, that whenever I saw Seth Rollins do a high-risk move, he would always hold his knee after landing. So whether or not his knee injury is playing up.
Could be.
Like, speaking from experience, when you have knee surgery, it kind of niggles. Yeah, and you're not the same person before going into surgery than you are after surgery. It just doesn't work that way.
all those. What did you say? It niggles at you?
It niggles away.
I don't think I've ever heard that term before. The first match of the official card was the Raw Women's Championship match. Charlotte Flair retained again.
Fucking hated
Bayley.
it.
Match was fine for me. Solid match. But Charlotte winning is just boring. She always wins.
You noticed that they were making it like, oh, this is the 16th pay-per-view. She won in a row. Blah, blah, blah. She's going to lose at number 17.
What, at Fastlane?
She's not going to defend at Fastlane. She's going to defend at WrestleMania.
If she doesn't defend at Fastlane, then, yeah, I mean, she's losing at WrestleMania. But, I don't know. I'm just sick and tired of it. I've been sick and tired of Charlotte for the longest time. I'm really sick of her character, of her promos, of the fact that she has to win every single one of these matches, because I think that she's good, but she's not as good as everybody keeps making her out to be. Like, she's clearly at the top. She's one of the best women that they have, and I would never argue that she shouldn't have been a 1 or 2 time champion by now, but they make her seem like she's so far above and beyond every single person and the number one priority for the entire women on all 3 of the different brands, and I don't think she's good enough to justify that. Like, I would have gone with Bayley versus Sasha Banks at WrestleMania, not Charlotte involved. I think that's a better match. Yeah,
they're going to have the triple threat at WrestleMania. I reckon at Fastlane it's going to be a tag match with Emma and Charlotte versus Sasha and Bayley.
Well, that's another thing, is Emelina, I thought, could have shown up here and could have interfered, and they didn't do that. And now I'm disappointed because I was like, that's another thing that they just keep dragging out. It's been October and we still don't see the Emma character coming back.
Well, she's supposed to be debuting tomorrow, isn't she? So another reason to watch Raw, I suppose.
Well, they said before
if you're into Emma.
They said before that she would be the next week, and then she never did. That was like November or something. I think we're either going to get Bayley, Charlotte again at Fastlane, and then another Nia Jax and Sasha Banks match, and then do a fatal 4-way at WrestleMania. Or we're going to get a 6-woman tag. We're going to get Charlotte, Emelina, and Nia against Bayley, Dana Brooke, and Sasha Banks.
Yep,
if they
want
to do that as a means to have Charlotte not have to win, but she still keeps the title, then maybe they'll do that. I don't know. Which, that sucks anyway, though. It's like, you're kind of damned if you do and damned if you don't. If you avoid having Charlotte as the champion heading into a match at Fastlane where she has to win it, then it's obvious that the reason you did that is because you want her to win, to not have to win the match, because you want her to keep the title. But then, if you have her just win another match, it's like, well, of course you had her win the match because you want her to keep the title. Like, it's just, at this point, you're looking at your watch and you're going, all right, well, how long until she loses at WrestleMania? And then if they don't have her lose at WrestleMania, then people like me who don't like her are going to be like, oh, for fuck's sake, we still got to keep her as champion. Like, there's, I want Bayley as champion. I'd be fine with Sasha getting a real championship title reign, but I'm over Charlotte. I've been over her for the longest time.
What other women are on Raw?
Paige, technically, although she's out with an injury. Summer Rae, technically, although she's out with an injury. Alicia Fox is. And I think that's it. Other than the ones that we just mentioned.
Oh, well. All right, then. Looking pretty thin there, Raw.
Mm-hmm. So you got the 6 women, and then the 2 that are injured, and then Alicia Fox.
Yeah.
And Lana, technically, but Lana's not really a wrestler yet. She's still just doing NXT live shows every once in a while. And Stephanie, but she doesn't count really either, so.
No.
So I thought it was a solid match, but I'm disappointed in the outcome, although I can't say that was a shock. And then we started having a bunch of network connection issues, and this kind of went on throughout the whole rest of the night, now and again. But that led us into... Did you have the issues with that?
I didn't have any network issues, but I thought the match was meh at best. I didn't like the ending with the natural selection on the ring apron. I thought that was fucking stupid. And I still don't like the figure 8.
Do you like it if it was a figure 9?
No.
It would at least be one more.
I think it's fucking stupid. I don't see how the bridge would inflict more pain, but that's just me.
Then again, there's also the whole thing of flipping over the figure 4 and it's supposed to change the torque, and that doesn't make any sense to me really either. That's wrestling, we have to just kind of go like, oh yeah, of course that hurts more because the guy's saying it hurts more. All right.
I think it's just Charlotte. I just don't like watching her wrestle.
I'd be okay with watching her wrestle. I just hate the special treatment that she gets. It's similar in ways to people complaining about Roman Reigns and John Cena and the other ones. It's like, anybody who can be decent, I'm cool with checking out. I just don't like when that's the only thing that WWE has on their mind. Like, you can tell that Charlotte is above and beyond their favorite woman on the roster. And I'm okay with if they were to make her a regular person and that she would have had the title by now and all that other kind of stuff, but don't make her like that she has to stand out. And if people don't want her to stand out because they can't get behind her as fans, well, then we'll book her to where she can be forced to stand out. You know what I mean? It's kind of stubborn.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with the Roman Reigns thing, which kind of takes us into the Universal Championship match.
Oh,
thankfully,
that.
Thankfully, Kevin Owens retained the title.
That's the only good thing about this match.
Well, I liked some different parts of it. I liked the table spot, Kevin Owens jumping on top of the table. I'm cool with the him getting pushed off the turnbuckle and landing into the chairs. I'm cool with the brass knuckles, even though the brass knuckle. Did you not like it for the same reason I didn't? I did like it, but I mean,
I liked it.
I didn't like
the fact that Superman kicked out.
That's what I don't like about it. He got nailed in the face with brass knuckles. Even if you're Roman Reigns, you shouldn't have kicked out for that.
I have to say though, this match made Kevin Owens look a decent wrestler. He carried Roman today.
You don't think he's a good wrestler?
Who, Roman?
No,
Kevin.
Owens.
I think he's an okay wrestler. I've never been like a big fan of his. Like I thought that his first match against John Cena was fucking amazing. Mm. But other than that, I thought he's half-assed most of his matches. But tonight he showed that he could actually carry someone like Roman Reigns, because all Roman Reigns did in that fucking match was a Samoan drop, Superman punch, and a spear.
Hey, rewatch it. Punches.
Rewatch it. That's all he did. Fucking terrible. He kicked out of a stunner. He kicked out of a powerbomb. He kicked out of the frog splash. He kicked out of the brass knuckles. He kicked out of... What else did he kick out?
Oh, the table spot, you were mentioning that. He got attacked by Braun Strowman, but that's what led to the end of it. Which...
Yeah, thank fuck for Braun Strowman.
One of the highlights of this pay-per-view was Braun Strowman, but that's no surprise. He's been doing great lately. But man, I am so confused about where they're going to go here now, because Roman Reigns had his little spat with Braun Strowman, and then they went in a different direction towards the Royal Rumble. So, man, I don't know, but here's something that ties into what's going on a little bit later. I am going to be furious if Kevin Owens drops this Universal Championship now, knowing what we know going into what the SmackDown side of things is looking like. I will be so pissed if we get, like, basically if the championships change to feuds that need the championship because they would have been mid-card feuds otherwise, and then the other more important things get downgraded to the mid-card because it's good enough that they don't need the title. If they have that mentality, I'm going to be so pissed off, because I don't want Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman for the Universal Championship. Give me Braun beats Jericho for the United States title and he fights Roman Reigns. I'd be cool with that. Give me the two of them against each other just in a regular match. Cool with that. Owens needs to keep this Universal title. And I'm going to be so pissed off if it happens on Raw, Fastlane, anything like that, and they go in a different direction.
Mm-hmm. I just want to see Roman Reigns lose clean, just once. Other than the Seth Rollins match that he lost clean, that was the only match I can remember him actually losing clean.
I don't remember the last one.
Like, at least make it believable.
We'll get more into Roman Reigns a little bit later.
I wish he would get lupus or something.
Lupus.
Just fuck off. Just fuck off and die in the corner somewhere. Cut your wrists or something. I don't give a fuck. Blow your brains out. I don't care.
I wouldn't go that far.
Take your goofy kids with you as well. Fuck me.
That's pretty dark.
I'm done at this point. I'm fucking done. Pisses me off. I've never wanted to hit a person, like physically punch someone so much, other than Roman Reigns.
Well, if he did that, he would just get right back up.
True.
Even if you have brass knucks.
Fucking fuck it. I still can't believe he kicked out the stunner. That's pissed me off.
Well, it's not Austin's stunner.
Yeah, but it still pissed me off.
You know what annoyed me was after this, we had this real long promo for that KFC Georgia Gold chicken. That seemed to go on for fucking ever.
Oh, I'm done with Enzo and Kaz as well.
They've done too many of these, man. It's hurting them. They're making them look like, well, they're going to look like idiots because they are idiots. But at the same time, it's kind of wearing out anything that was kind of cool about it. And it's just making it annoying,
Mm-hmm.
Like, we got Enzo talking about, like, what do we got here? It's fucking golden honey barbecue shit. And it's like, oh, dude, I'm not interested in KFC. Can you not shtick this whole thing up? And how about you just run a little graphic on the screen that says KFC's Georgia Gold Barbecue? Go fucking buy it. And if I'm interested, I'll buy it. And if I'm not, like I wouldn't be, because the last 20 times that I've ever had KFC, it's been garbage, then I'm not going to buy it. And it's certainly not going to be like, well, Enzo said that it was good, I'm going to go buy it. No. I was eating pizza at the time. That's already bad enough for me, but it tastes better. These are the
promos that make you miss the old Skittles and Snickers adverts that they used to run.
Fruity, banana fruity. Or like the karate fighters, or like that shit was more fun back then.
Mm-hmm.
And not just because I was a kid, but because it was like, I don't know. I like Enzo and Cass, and I don't like to see them constantly being the shilling machine. Especially when it's like, the stuff that they've written for them is not good. They're just sort of like delivering these crappy lines, and you can tell that it's like scripted as all hell, and just did not like it. One thing that I thought was kind of funny, though, right after that, was we had the little Tumblr backstage. I always like when they do that, because it's just back into the old days where you used to be able to pick the number and stuff. And they had Sami Zayn pick his number. Dean Ambrose comes out, pick his number, and he checks out Sami Zayn's number. He's like, oh, it's an 8. Wait a minute, it's upside down. It's an 8.
I was pissed off. I was really mad at this.
Why?
I wanted Sami Zayn to get number 1.
Oh, see, I thought this is great. And I was just one person off with that. By the way, the entrance for that Royal Rumble predictions contest, I will reveal the answers of who ended up getting however many things right on the hot tags, because I need a little bit of time to start calculating it. We don't know the full numbers of how long everybody was in the match and that kind of stuff, but we do know some of the little elements to it, so when it comes time to that, we'll get to that. I liked the idea of actually revealing somebody's number ahead of time. They've never really done that, other than number 1, number 30. It's just like, hey, Dean Ambrose, like, he's just going to say he's number 8. Cool. All right. You wanted him at number 1, though?
I wanted him number 1, yeah.
I was still hoping that they would have done something with Rollins at that point.
That was my plan.
I don't know if anybody got that correct, actually. If anybody picked Sami Zayn at number 8, or if anybody picked who number 1 and number 2 were. That'd be pretty interesting when I double check that. I know I was one person off for that, because I looked at the time and I was like, where did I have Sami Zayn? And I had him at number 7, and I was like, damn it. But let's see. Now that I'm looking at this, actually, a lot of people have Sami Zayn at number 1.
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 8 people have Sami Zayn at number 1. Looks like 3 people had Seth Rollins, 1 person had Jericho, 2 people had The Miz, 1 person had Big Cass. So, Silent Widow Doom got Big Cass right, we know that. And man, all these people spelling everything wrong. You guys couldn't really figure out how to spell Sami Zayn and stuff. I already told you to look at those names. God damn it. There's Sami Zayn on here. There's Sami Zay. Yeah. If I was a mean person, I would just be like, nope, you got it wrong because you put Sami Zayn.
Fuck it, do it.
Maybe I will.
Do it, because this Royal Rumble sucked.
Maybe I'll turn heel and do it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Then we had our Cruiserweight Championship match. Rich Swann, unsuccessful in defending his title against Neville. Neville is our new Cruiserweight Champion. Golf clap.
All I can say about this is thank fuck I don't waste my time watching 205.
You're not a fan of Neville winning?
I'm a fan of Neville winning. I just wasn't a fan of this fucking match. I thought it was fucking awful.
Really? I like the match.
Fucking hate it.
What did you hate about it?
It bored the living shit out of me.
Huh.
Literally, this was my toilet break.
Oh, see, I didn't take it piss break. If I would have, probably would have been during that Sasha Banks versus Nia Jax match. Or any of the other promos, like that Shawn Michaels promo where he's just kind of like, hey, everybody, we're in San Antonio. I'm from San Antonio. Royal Rumble, huh? Neat. See you guys.
Also,
right.
that Cruiserweight belt is fucking ugly.
It's just because of the purple strap.
I don't like the shape of it.
I'm cool with the shape. I don't like these multicolored straps. I think that they look real shitty.
That color strap that would have matched Neville's cape back in the day, though.
And I still say they should have used all these different colors that they want to put the straps on. Just incorporate that into the actual middle part, and then it would look so much better. And then make it everything a black strap, because black straps look so much better. Unless you want to keep the women's titles as the white ones, just to separate them, because they look the same as the Universal and the World one. Keep those separate? Okay. SmackDown's women's title looks fantastic. But these red straps and all that, I'm not a fan. I do like Neville as a champion, though. I thought this match was good. Totally disagree when it comes to that. But this was your least favorite match of the night, I assume, then?
No, that was the Universal.
Oh, okay.
Fucking hated that Universal match. Fucking awful.
So I liked both of them. I'm just curious about where that Universal title is going to go, and that's what makes me a little bit nervous. And the same thing kind of applies to the WWE Championship match. I thought that was fantastic, but I'm nervous about where they're going to go.
Randy Orton versus John Cena for lols.
If they fucking do that, man. See, that's all right.
We've never had it at WrestleMania, I don't think.
We might as well start talking about that kind of a thing. Well, you know what? Actually, before we start getting into that, what did you think about the WWE Championship match itself? I thought it was great. I'm going to write that down as one of my favorite matches of the year.
Yeah, match of the year, yeah, by far. So far, anyways.
Yeah, I mean, we're really 29 days into January, into 2017, so there could be a lot better matches, but right now, this is the first one I'm going to write down. And I'm cool with Cena being champion if it leads to the right direction, but
I'm cool with him being champ. What I'm hoping is he loses it in the chamber to AJ Styles, and then we'll have AJ, Cena, and the winner of the Royal Rumble for the triple threat.
Well, let's talk about this, because this is where everything... I wrote down a list when I was doing this. You know, I'm doing my coverage for Smark Out Moment. I'm doing my coverage for Bleacher Report, whatever. I start writing down a list of a bunch of things that I really like and a bunch of things that I dislike. And all the way up until pretty much the final 4, I was sitting there going, this match is fucking great. I love this. That was a great thing that happened. That was a great thing that happened. That was a great thing that happened. Then they fuck it all up. And man... before we run down all this shit, because it's going to be a bad way to sour the mood for everything, I want to talk about the highlights that I liked, because those are the only things that are saving some of this. Well, number 1, I liked having Lawler on commentary.
Yeah, Lawler was a breath of fresh air, which is weird, because I never liked I didn't like Jerry Lawler towards the end.
No, he kind of phoned it in.
But today he was on point.
Yeah, it's like he had a little bit of renewed vigor to him, and he was something different. So why not bring him in there instead of just hearing Byron Saxton and everybody else that we normally hear? Because I wouldn't want to hear Otunga do this. I wouldn't want to hear, like Corey Graves and Byron Saxton and Michael Cole do it on their own or something like that. So Lawler in the mix was kind of cool. I like that.
Speaking of commentators, do you reckon Mark Warren, or whatever his name is?
Mar Ranallo?
Yeah, him. Do you reckon he's going to get into trouble?
For what?
He accidentally said STFU.
Oh, he didn't even pick that up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't imagine him getting in trouble for that.
Oh, I reckon he will.
They might be like, yo, you realize you said STFU? And then he'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, did I? And they'd be like, yeah, don't fucking ever do that again. But I don't think they're going to be like, we're going to get fined for that. Or like, well, we're going to kick you off of SmackDown. Or it's not a big offense. Now, if he would have said like, STFU and it stands for shut the fuck up, then it would have been like, okay. Okay, Morrow, you're kind of pushing some buttons here. And then he would have like, Mamma Mia, what the fuck? I liked Big Cass coming out as one of the first entrants, so he and Enzo could do their little promo stuff. Even though I didn't like the gold chicken shit, it was still like, that's a good way to do it. And I am so mad at myself because before they did the whole thing with Sami Zayn and Seth Rollins, I had Big Cass in my notes as number 1. And I was just like, that's the only way they can have him do that promo thing. Mm-hmm. He's got to be number 1 or number 2. And then they fucking take Seth Rollins out of the match, and I go, oh, I get it. They're going to do Seth Rollins for number 1 instead. Well, let me push him over to like number 4, number 5 or something. And then he fucking comes out at number 1, and I'm like, you assholes. Oh, I hate it when I've got like the right idea for something at the Royal Rumble, and then I second guess myself, and I end up being right about that. I'm like, oh, damn it.
I am glad he didn't last very long.
He lasted just as much as he should have.
Yeah.
He got a couple good shots in there. He looked strong. I don't think he eliminated anybody. No, I'm double checking about this.
I don't think he did.
Nope, he did not eliminate anybody. But, he was fighting Jericho. He's fighting Kalisto. He's fighting Mojo Rawley. They got Jack Gallagher in the mix. Bringing William III in. Having a little cool spot with the umbrella and Chris Jericho opening up the umbrella. I thought that was funny.
I had no idea who he was. My brother made me laugh. He said
that's right, because you don't follow 205.
He said, this guy makes Sheamus look like he's got a suntan.
Yeah. I thought that was kind of cool. I like the idea of them doing that. Jack Gallagher is this weird character that he's kind of like, he's sort of ridiculous, but I like him. So yeah. I liked the idea that he brought in the umbrella and like they did that little spot. I thought that was kind of funny. Braun Strowman comes into the mix a little bit after the next person after Mark Henry. And Mark Henry gets an elimination. I was cool to see Mark Henry. He eliminated Jack Gallagher. Texas guy. Might not put him in the Royal Rumble. He's not been around for a little while now, so bringing him back into the mix. I'm always a big fan of Mark Henry, so I'm never going to downside that. And then Strowman comes in, and Strowman starts cleaning house. Mojo's gone. Cass is gone. Kalisto's gone. Mark Henry's gone. Which at that point, I'm sitting there going, well, Braun Strowman's already he's got 3 more people, and he'll tie the normal average record of most eliminations. Usually it's 7 is like the most amount. He's already got 4, and it's like we're not even at number 8 entrant, But we get our 8th entrant. That's Sami Zayn. We knew that ahead of time. And I knew that Braun Strowman and Sami Zayn were going to come to blows at some point, but I did not expect Sami Zayn to last as long as he did. He lasted up until close to the end. And I'm really shocked about that. I thought he'd get eliminated. If he came out at number 8, I thought for sure he'd be done by like 14.
No, I knew Sami Zayn was going to be my Iron Man. That's why I wanted him to be number 1.
Was he? No, he wasn't the Iron Man.
No, it was Chris Jericho.
Chris Jericho was, yeah. We don't know exactly what his time was for that. Got to double check that over the next day or so. But he's definitely surpassed the record now, too, for the most cumulative time in the WrestleMania. In the ring during the Royal Rumble. He was just 4 minutes behind Triple H before. And he clearly beats 4 minutes. So Chris Jericho, most amount of time in Royal Rumble history. Not in a single Royal Rumble, but most amount of time, period.
And still yet to win.
Still yet to win. They should have fucking won this year.
Yep.
Pisses me off. But we get a couple more people. Big Show, he has a little stare down with Braun Strowman. Big Show was eliminated by Braun.
I'm so glad Big Show got eliminated early.
By Strowman in general, or just because you didn't want Big Show to win?
Just early. Like, there was no time between his and he got eliminated in 2 minutes, which was
he got eliminated before the 10th person came out.
Yeah, which was perfect for me.
He might have the lowest amount of time. It might be Mark Henry or him. I'm not too sure. I don't think anybody else got eliminated before the next person came out. Now I'm double checking about that. No. Yeah, it's got to be between one of those two. So I'm not too sure which one ends up being in that spot. It could be Big Show, and it could... I don't know. See, Henry got... Mojo and Big Cass and Kalisto got eliminated before that. I'm going to think Big Show probably got the shortest time, which is a little bit weird.
I don't think it's weird.
Match, you know?
Braun Strowman looks strong. It makes Braun Strowman look good.
I'm totally cool with Braun Strowman eliminating him. I mean, that was good. I mean, Strowman eliminated Big Show, Big Cass, and Mark Henry. That's 3 big, big guys. Strowman looked like a beast in this. He did get eliminated earlier than I thought he would, though.
Didn't see his elimination. Didn't see it.
And it was cool. It was cool that he got eliminated by Baron Corbin too, because that made Corbin look strong.
At least WWE listened to a point.
They listened for some things, you know.
Ty Dillinger at number 10.
I was so happy about that. And all the people I'm watching it with, only 1 or 2 really know anything about NXT. And I'm sitting there, I hear, and I'm like, holy fuck, it's Ty Dillinger. And everybody else is like, the fuck is this guy? And I'm like, it's number 10. You know. They're like, why is it special that he's number 10? I'm like, because he's 10. You don't get it.
Perfect 10.
That was great. That was one of my favorite parts of the whole night. I loved that. That was fucking fantastic. He didn't last too long, but he lasted longer than I thought that he would have. He lasted a couple spots. He went through James Ellsworth and Dean Ambrose coming up after that. That was kind of funny where he's like, hey, come on, let's go. You and I together, we're going to take out Braun Strowman. All right, 3, 2, 1. And then he just lets him go instead. I laughed at that. I thought that was funny. Sacrificial Lamb, James Ellsworth. Lasts longer than Santino, so he doesn't have that record behind him. Kofi Kingston gets a little spot, which admittedly probably his worst.
Yep.
That one wasn't really all that great. But it's still an interesting kind of spot, holding on to the ring post. It's better than nothing. I'll take it.
It was still something.
Yeah. Cesaro and Sheamus fighting together, causing their elimination. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Oh, fucking Cesaro. Fucking Cesaro coming out and giving everybody the swing. That was fucking great.
Yeah, but then he couldn't pick up Big E. He was struggling with Baron Corbin, but he really couldn't pick up Big E. And he's just all dizzy.
Do you reckon he was actually dizzy or just couldn't be fucked?
I think it's got to be a combo of, number 1, he was dizzy, and number 2, Big E's just too big for him to pick up. He's picked up other people, but it's been not after doing a bunch of other people. He probably was just tired and couldn't pick him up. And I thought that was pretty funny. We had Orton, Ziggler, Luke Harper, a couple other people in the mix, blah, blah, blah. Nothing really interesting with Apollo Crews or whatever. But Luke Harper flat out turns on Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton. I mean, you got to assume that this is either a babyface turn or at least he's split from them now. First person he goes after is Apollo Crews. Second person he goes after is Bray Wyatt.
Bray Wyatt.
Come on, man.
That was weird.
That was cool. I like that. Then we start getting into the bad shit, though. I mean, not exactly right after that point, because we had Brock Lesnar coming out. He tosses out Ambrose, and he tosses out Ziggler, and that's kind of well, they didn't really last all that long. That's kind of disappointing. I like both those guys. Enzo comes out, gets eliminated by Lesnar, and that's kind of funny. Goldberg comes out, eliminates Brock Lesnar. Okay.
That was amazing. I actually liked that part.
I was cool with it. Then The Undertaker comes out. And I'm thinking to myself, oh man, He's number 29.
30.
We got
number 30,
30.
Samoa Joe. Number 30, Samoa Joe.
I'm like, it's got to be Joe, Kurt Angle, Finn Balor. One of those three. Got to be that.
I was open for Tyler Bates. I was as well. I was like, oh, it's either going to be Tyler Bates, Kurt Angle, Samoa Joe. It's going to be one of those.
You know, Tyler Bate not being in this is one of my surprises. No Kane in this either. Really surprised about that. But we get Roman Reigns.
Fucking Superman himself.
And
who, by the way, earlier in the night went through war and couldn't stand. And yeah, an hour later, I'm fine. Put me in the Rumble. Fuck off. Go get AIDS.
At first, I wasn't totally against it. I was mad that we didn't get Samoa Joe, and I was mad that we didn't get, like, you know, Kurt Angle or somebody like that. But I was thinking to myself, you know what? If they did this just to piss off the crowd and he gets eliminated and this, like Jericho wins or something instead, I'll still be okay. But motherfuckers.
He eliminated Undertaker.
He eliminates Undertaker. And then he eliminates Chris Jericho, and we're down to Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton, and Roman Reigns. And I think to myself, I don't fucking want any of these people to win.
Didn't he eliminate The Miz as well?
Yeah, and or no, the Undertaker eliminated
Miz
and Sami Zayn.
Right. Yeah. When it was the 4 left in the ring, I was like, right, in order, this is how I want him to win. 1, Chris Jericho. 2,
Agreed.
Bray Wyatt. 3,
Agreed.
Randy Orton. 4, anybody but Roman.
See, I can't even really go into that way, though, because at that point I was thinking, well, I'd rather have Roman Reigns win than Randy Orton. Because Randy Orton wins this, and that means we're going to get Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt for fucking WrestleMania, or we're going to get Randy Orton versus John Cena. I don't fucking want Randy Orton in any WWE Championship match right now. Why? Like, I don't understand the mentality behind this. We could still get John Cena versus Undertaker. We could still get Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman. We can still get Jericho Owens, and we can still get Styles Undertaker. We can still get a variety of different things here. But if you mean to tell me your Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton match is a match that shouldn't be on the mid-card, it should be for the WWE Championship, and to get to that point, you're going to have Randy Orton win the Royal Rumble, and then Bray Wyatt win the Elimination Chamber? Fuck off. You just went through all that effort to change the championship around just to give those two the championship? Not interested whatsoever. I think it's a dumb idea. Beyond dumb. That cannot be the WWE Championship match at WrestleMania. And Randy Orton versus John Cena, we've seen that a million times. Nobody gives a shit about that. I don't understand the mentality.
Unless Randy Orton switches to Raw.
Even that, I don't want to see him against anybody for the Universal title. Randy Orton was doing so well as a mid-card guy.
Yep.
And he and Bray Wyatt, or the three of them in a triple threat match, that would have been a great mid-card match. Something that, if you're not really interested in it, that's when you can take your piss break, or you can go get your concessions, or, you know, whatever. It can go on maybe like the second hour, and they can have a decent match, and then that can be the end of it, the end of the feud. Kind of like Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins was. But a world title match at this point? Like, you can get Joe against Cena or Styles. You can get Undertaker versus Cena or Styles. You can get Undertaker versus Roman Reigns, and that would be a more interesting match. You can get fucking so many things out there. Braun Strowman versus Undertaker, I'd take over that. I would take Braun Strowman versus... I would take Braun Strowman versus Bray Wyatt over that. But Bray Wyatt is not an entertaining enough character to be in the World Championship match, and Randy Orton is just as bland as Bray Wyatt is at this point, and they're fine for the mid-card, but they do not deserve that world title.
Oh god, no. They don't deserve the main event spot at all. I don't even know what Randy Orton's done to deserve the spot. He went to suck someone off backstage or something.
I just really don't understand it. Like, I really want, if anybody has any idea of what this should have been going into and they can explain why WWE would want to do this, please try to explain it to me, because in my mind, this literally comes down to them going, well, how about we just give the title to those guys instead? Because nobody would think that we would at this point. You know, they think that we're going to do Styles or Cena as champion, so why don't we just have them change that and whatever? And I don't want to see it. And I don't want to see anything else happen either, too, where it's like, now you don't give Randy Orton the title match because you want to change the Royal Rumble at the last minute, whatever like that, because then that devalues the Royal Rumble. I want the Royal Rumble winner to win the championship, or at least go to fight for the championship at WrestleMania. Just don't book the Royal Rumble to be a stupid ass winner. You know what I mean? Like Daniel Bryan that year, he should have won the Royal Rumble.
Yep.
And I am never going to assume that they had this plan all along, that he would find a way, a backdoor in and all that. Nuh-uh, that wasn't the fucking case. Nope. They changed their mind when everybody went nuts.
Yep.
And this year, Randy Orton, you really mean to tell me that you want to put Randy Orton in the world title match? I do not think that that's a good idea. And it's not a matter of me just not liking Randy Orton, because I like Randy Orton. And I've got my issues with Bray Wyatt, but Bray Wyatt's not bad. They're just, neither of them are good enough for the WWE Championship match at WrestleMania, out of all WrestleManias. Like, that's not going to be the thing that sells the pay-per-view. And if they know that that's not going to be the thing that sells the pay-per-view and they're booking on just Goldberg Lesnar, then just give up if you don't give a shit about the rest of the card, you know? Fuck it.
What if Randy Orton defends his right at WrestleMania at the Elimination Chamber against, I don't know, Luke Harper or something?
I don't even want that to happen, because I don't want them to cheapen the Royal Rumble and have it be something where we went with the Royal Rumble win because nobody thought that would happen, but our real plan is to do something else, so then we have to change it at the last minute. At that point, just pick the original person to be the Royal Rumble winner. But we know that we're going to get people fighting for the Elimination Chamber, in the Elimination Chamber for the WWE Championship, and we know that at least at this point you would assume Bray Wyatt, AJ Styles, John Cena,
Dean Ambrose,
maybe Dean Ambrose, maybe The Miz, maybe Baron Corbin, maybe Dolph Ziggler, maybe The Undertaker. But if this ends up with fucking Bray Wyatt winning that championship, oh man, like, I really just don't understand it. It's not a matter of me going with my preferences and just going, damn it, I really wish that they would have gone with, like, all right, if you would have told me you book the Royal Rumble and I can only go back to as far as like this past week, I would have said, well, I want to see these certain matches at WrestleMania. So if you want, say, Undertaker Styles, if you want that to be the championship match, Undertaker wins. If you want Samoa Joe, John Cena to be the championship match, Samoa Joe wins. If you want to not have a SmackDown guy win the Royal Rumble, give me Jericho versus Owens, and
Jericho wins. Fuck me.
But I never would have gone with Randy Orton to win, because I just do not want to see those two for the world title.
Nope. What if, say Cena does lose, right? Then he's entitled to a rematch, right? AJ then will kick off and say that he never had a one-on-one rematch against John Cena, and then it's a fatal four-way at WrestleMania.
Still not interested at that point, but it's better. At least then you don't have to rely completely on Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton, because really that feud is just not interesting enough for me.
Or
and I'm just shocked that they went with this.
AJ wins back the title,
and we get AJ versus Orton.
Yeah, I'd be interested in seeing Orton versus AJ. I don't think I've seen it.
I mean, Orton AJ is more interesting to me than Orton Wyatt. But then what do you do with Wyatt? Do you do it just him against Harper? Or?
That's what I would do. I'd do Wyatt against Harper. Cena against Joe.
Still just not good enough. And then maybe Undertaker Reigns.
Undertaker Reigns, and then Kevin Owens, Jericho, yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, I'd rather go for that card, but I would still just, like, fucking Randy Orton winning this, man. Like, they changed the booking odds, and the betting was leaning towards Randy Orton, and I kept thinking to myself, why Randy Orton? That doesn't make any sense to me. It makes more sense that Strowman or... Fuck, at that point, it seemed like it was even better off that, like, that The Miz would win. But Randy Orton is your fucking Royal Rumble. This means, if there's people out there that I'm sure are happy about this, Randy Orton fans are going to go nuts and stuff, but I got to imagine that this is now the 7th year in a row that people are going to be upset with how the Royal Rumble panned out.
Especially from the number 30 spot.
Well, Orton was number 23, which I don't think anybody else has won at number 23 before. Let me double check that. It might be a brand new number, but they didn't do the number 30 thing again. But the 30 thing, because we didn't get Samoa Joe and we got Roman Reigns, that's going to piss off a lot of people too. Actually, somebody did win from number 23 before, Lex Luger.
That's what soured me on this Rumble, was the fact that Roman was number 30, because Triple H was 30 last year, right?
Yeah.
And then the year before that was
2015 and number 30 off the top of my head. I can't remember what number 30 was. Was that like Rusev or something maybe? Or Big Show?
No, Rusev was number 1 that year. I think, maybe. And then the year before that was Rey Mysterio.
Number 30 for 2016 or 2015 was Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, there you go. That was a disappointment. So number 30 has been disappointing for the last 5-6 years.
Well, we were trying to think about it the other day, and we were trying to think, when was the last time people were actually happy with the Royal Rumble win? And 2010 with Edge is the last one I can remember people actually cheering.
Yep, and even then, people were sour about it.
And then they kind of, like, half-assed that whole thing with his match with Jericho and all that. And, I mean, this would have been a perfect year for Chris Jericho to win it. It would have been great with Braun Strowman even winning it or whatever. And Randy fucking Orton, if they would have gone with a good winner, this would have been in contention for one of my favorite events of the year, depending on how everything pans out over the next couple of months. But that soured me so much on this. Just Randy Orton is our fucking Royal Rumble winner. Now, he wins it for the second time, and it's going to lead to a match that I don't give a shit about at WrestleMania. Awesome. Great. Way to make me want to pay attention to the next 3 months. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's like, at least if you're going to go with something that I'm not expecting to happen, go with something that'll make me more intrigued about where they're going to go. Be like, Kofi Kingston wins, and I'd be like, what? Okay. How are they going to do this? Whatever, that kind of a thing. But Randy Orton, man, I am not on the Randy Orton train right now to get him a match with the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. I do not think he's good enough for it. I think that Bray Wyatt feud is nowhere near interesting enough for the world title. And it doesn't matter if Bray wins at Elimination Chamber, if he wins it on SmackDown, whatever the case may be, I am not going to be interested in that match for WrestleMania. So you just basically killed off one of the most important matches of the night.
Yep.
Motherfuckers. And if they also, that's what I'm saying about the Universal title match, if they also make Kevin Owens lose the title at Fastlane to Roman Reigns or to Braun Strowman, and then they have Roman and Strowman or something like that, then you can just all fuck off. You know what I mean? Like, then you clearly just wanted to go with these weird routes, and it doesn't matter if people really would have preferred other options. And I'm not imperfect. I mean, it's not my opinion's not the thing that they should go by. It's not like they should call me up and be like, what does Mango like? And then I'd be like, well, I'm a big fan of the New Day. Let's give them the fucking world titles. It's, that's not going to be that kind of a thing. But I got to imagine, I at least am speaking on a good part of a lot of different people here, that if you tell them Owens Jericho for the United States title or Owens Jericho for the Universal, probably more people are going to want the Universal.
Yep.
You go with Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt, you say, is that worth the world title match, or is it a good enough mid-card match? Gotta imagine most people are going to say it's good enough for the mid-card. Now,
It's just fucking stupid.
If you pay attention over the next couple of weeks or so, I will be doing my fantasy booking, and I guarantee you, Randy Orton is not in the world title match for that one. I've already written up the notes for it. I wrote them up a month ago, and I've not changed anything from what I wrote up a month ago, and it's clearly not going in that direction for me right now. There's like 2 matches that seems like they're probably going to do it, the Shaq and Big Show one, and Rollins Triple H. And other than that, it seems like everything's a completely different thing, and I'm like, you know what, fuck that, you know. It's like so great. Now I'm gonna have to watch this slow descent with the next 2 pay-per-views building up to a WrestleMania that I'm not going to enjoy as much.
And then you got the stuff after WrestleMania, because you can guarantee Randy Orton's going to be in the main event until at least probably SummerSlam.
I'm not looking forward to this at all. It's kind of like when you see a preview for a movie that you're really interested in. Like when I would see, say, I don't know, like when Batman v Superman was supposed to come out. Now, granted, I like Batman v Superman. I think the extended edition is
better,
pretty fucking awesome.
Yep.
But when they started advertising some stuff and it was like, here's Aquaman is going to be in the movie, and it's going to be Jason Momoa, and we're going to also have Ezra Miller, and he's going to be the Flash, and I'm like, okay, maybe I can be on board with this, but I'm a little bit hesitant. And then they show you Jesse Eisenberg, and then I go, oh fuck, they're going to ruin this. And guess what got ruined in the fucking movie? Jesse Eisenberg.
Yep.
Killed off the Lex Luthor character in so many different ways. It was real great potential, and it went to shit. And that's kind of how I look at a situation like this. You had 5-6 options you could have gone with that could have been really cool, and you went with an option that sucks.
I just don't get it.
No. And I hate to be that type of a guy that sits there and just bitches. But if you listen to the beginning of this whole thing, and all throughout the whole rest of this podcast, I liked this match, I liked that match, that spot was cool, this is cool, that's good, that's great. All the way up until the Final 4 was fantastic at the Royal Rumble. I thought it was amazing. And then you fuck it all up with a bad choice.
Well, all up until the number 30.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I mean, I'll even take Roman Reigns at number 30. It's disappointing. But if they would have gone with a different route, I would have been okay with it in the long run.
I think I would have rather seen Earl Hebner as number 30.
I probably would have popped.
What
would his entrance music have been?
He wouldn't have any. He'd just walk down.
The old WrestleMania theme. Da, 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 da. It's Earl Hebner, time for WrestleMania.
Christ. Fucking anybody but Roman for number 30. Jesus fucking Christ. Was by Bob Backlund, man. Where the hell was all the surprise entrants like?
Yeah, they didn't really have any. They had Ty Dillinger, which that's awesome.
Oh, that was obvious. They had to do it.
And
otherwise,
had,
I would have turned it off. If he wasn't number 10, I was going to turn it off.
They had Gallagher. Although it's like not really too much of a surprise. It was just, let's pick a Cruiserweight guy. But that goes to show you right now the Cruiserweights are eligible for the Royal Rumble if they went with that.
Mm-hmm.
So that means no other Cruiserweights were picked. Next year, maybe a different story. I don't know. But, man, I liked so much of this Royal Rumble. And that ending just fucking killed it. So I don't know. I mean, that could be your death knell. These next couple of months could be lots and lots of negativity on Smack Talk going forward. Or maybe they can right the ship. I don't know, but
we like negativity. Negativity is a good thing.
I don't like it. I hate being negative all the time. Like, I try real hard to be optimistic as much as I can. And I try real hard to be like looking on the bright side of things, but you give me something that I think is shitty, I'm not going to try to eat it and say that it's steak. It's shit. This Randy Orton thing, unless there's some wild ass plan that I have no clue what they're doing here, then I can't imagine this turning out well. And it's WrestleMania. This should be the time of the year that the biggest, best possible matches happen. Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt is not a WWE Championship match. Especially if you're going to give the fucking world title to Bray Wyatt right after John Cena just wins his 16th title. Like, I'm cool with Cena winning that title. Have him go into WrestleMania with it. Have Samoa Joe win this. Joe versus Cena at WrestleMania. That'd be so awesome. Have Undertaker Cena at WrestleMania.
I know this is going to sound bad, but fingers crossed Randy Orton's shoulder pops.
If their plan is Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt, I don't wish anybody to get hurt. But but if Randy Orton's going to get injured this year, I'd rather it happen now than for it to happen afterward. I'll put it that way. Let's bump up the timetable and have that screw up that WrestleMania match. I'd rather him take the fall now and give us a better WrestleMania than for us to do all that shit with WrestleMania than for him to get injured. And he probably will. He normally gets injured. Unless
this could be his swan song, perhaps, him versus Cena at WrestleMania, and Orton loses, and then he's done, he's retired. Because he is knocking it on a bit, and he does get a lot of injuries, and he is now a family man.
Well, I don't even want that to happen either, because I want Randy Orton to stick around for a while. I want him to he was doing great in the mid-card. Like, I was loving the idea that he was a tag champion with Bray Wyatt and stuff. That was kind of cool. I just don't want him to be the world champion, or fighting for the world championship at WrestleMania. I would have been fine with them being in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And I know that a lot of people are going to look at that and they're going to go like, oh, that's so shitty compared to what he deserves. Well, put him in the IC title match then. Give him the Intercontinental title. Put Dean Ambrose in the world title match instead.
Oh, God, no.
A lot more interesting.
Oh, God, no. Dean Ambrose should not be anywhere near that picture.
I'd rather Dean Ambrose than Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt.
Who's to say we're going to get Bray Wyatt, though?
I got to imagine that's where they're going. Randy Orton versus anybody at this point, though, I'm not really interested in. Like, Randy Orton, Samoa Joe, meh. Randy Orton, Cena, no.
Randy Orton, Miz, Randy Orton.
The most interesting is Randy Orton Styles, but then that means Styles has to turn face, or Randy Orton has to turn face. And if Randy Orton turns face, he has to feud with Bray Wyatt, because Bray Wyatt's a heel. And then they just rush that feud for the Elimination Chamber? Like, I don't know. He's probably going to stay heel, and then that means he's got to fight a babyface. Well, you know what? Either he stays heel and he fights a babyface, which who would that be? It would be John Cena, which I don't really care about. Or he feuds with Bray Wyatt, and then fuck it. I just don't like any of these options. It's just pissing me off. Kurt Angle, Randy Orton,
I'll take it.
Fuck it, if that's the only thing that we can do, that we can get something more interesting, I'll take that over that, but I really don't want to see that either. Something weird must happen. I don't know.
Something that's happened in the Chamber match. That's all I can think of.
Chamber becomes the most important thing going on right now, that's for sure.
Yep.
So, I mean, I don't want to end on such a negative note. I'm trying to think of a positive way to get around that, but
I got a positive.
What's that?
The double AA that John Cena did to win that title.
Big fan of that. That was cool.
That was amazing. Appreciate that. There you go.
We'll talk about how good that match was.
Yeah, we only brushed up past that.
That was really such a good match. It was it's going to be one of my contenders for match of the year, I'm sure. And that means that Styles and AJ just know how Styles and Cena, they know how to work well together.
Yeah.
They haven't had a bad match.
Considering John Cena's a WWE guy and not a wrestler, he showed some good moves today. I like that sequence of submissions they did.
Yeah, that was good.
From
Do you like Neville's submission, by the way?
It's like I don't know how to explain it.
I was a big fan of that. I thought that looked like that would hurt like hell.
Yeah. It's like AJ Lee's, but on the ground type.
Yeah, kind of. And he's not spinning around.
Yeah, and it looks uncomfortable as fuck.
I don't know how people are supposed to get out of that, but that was a good way for him to win that title. So there were parts that I liked about this. I thought that, outside of that Royal Rumble win, I would have given this a really high grade for this pay-per-view. I thought that a lot of it was so good. Hopefully, if you guys enjoyed it more, we didn't just kill all your buzz. I want to know what you guys have to think, though. I want you to leave your comments below, whether you agree or you disagree with what we were saying. And if you disagree, don't turn it into "fuck you, you guys are wrong." Turn it into "why do you think that we're wrong?" Give us your ideas of how we should look forward to this instead. And if it's just a matter of I'm a big Randy Orton fan and I like Randy Orton winning, then you're not going to convince us that we're wrong. But the same as I wouldn't be able to convince you that just because I don't like Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton, if you're a fan of that, then fucking yay. But I got to imagine you're probably in the minority here. And
I'm just glad it's not Roman Reigns.
well, you might see him win that title at Fastlane.
Oh God.
We're not out of the woods yet when it comes to that kind of stuff.
When is Fastlane? Is that 3 weeks, is it?
March 5th, I think. We've got Elimination Chamber coming up in a couple days. That's the 10th or the 12th or so.
It's 2 weeks away,
12th.
Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, that's the 12th. And the 5th is the Fastlane.
One after that, right now. It's just 4 weeks, 5 weeks away, right now.
They got quite a bit of time. Which means they could go in a couple different directions. Maybe we get Braun Strowman wins the title. Maybe we get Chris Jericho loses the United States title.
Maybe
game for that.
Maybe Charlie Sheen decides to rape Roman Reigns and Roman gets AIDS, and then I now have to see him perform on television ever again.
Crazier things have happened. Oh, last thing we should do here is just promote some stuff that we've got going on. Sean, anything you want to plug?
Twitter.com/ShaughnC2K37. I will eventually change it at some point. I don't know when. Who knows? Probably when hell freezes over, or when Roman Reigns fucks off and dies, or maybe when John Cena decides to go totally bald. Who knows? But on a score level of this pay-per-view, I would have given it an 8 because of the WWE match itself, the title match. But with everything, I'd have to give it a 4.
If you take away the Randy Orton win, I'd give this my scale's 1, 2, or 3. I would give it a 3. But that Randy Orton win, man, that bumps it at least. I have to go down to a 2. Because it's like, I liked so much about that. But that's the most important thing to happen in the entire night. And it went in a direction I really didn't want. So that really sours it for me. And I'm hoping against hope that I am wrong and that they've got some big plans and it could end up being a great WrestleMania. And we're not going to look back on this Royal Rumble and be like, well, that was another waste with fucking Randy Orton winning of all people, because that's what we've been doing the past couple of years.
What's the main event last year? Oh, yeah, Triple H, Roman Reigns. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Ugh.
This year it's going to be Goldberg Lesnar, and I don't want that to be the main event either.
I'll see the main event should always be the title match.
That's what I think.
That's how I look at it. Who knows? Perhaps the Wyatt and Orton match will be the first match on the card, and we just forget about it.
That sucks if that's the case.
Brush it under the carpet. We'll skip by it.
One of them as champion, you know.
Oh, what do you watch SmackDown?
Yeah.
Oh, then I was gonna say, where'd you get you to watch SmackDown?
No, I watch everything.
I'm the one who's got a fucking part with it. Christ. Oh,
yeah, I'm the one that sits through 3 hours of Raw, 2 hours of SmackDown, an hour of 205 Live, an hour of NXT. Fucking, I watch all the Table for 3 and all that other kind of stuff. Like, That's why it's frustrating as all hell when you go like that. Because then you go, okay, well then at the very least, I've got 2 hours of SmackDown every week for the next couple of weeks that I'm not going to enjoy as much.
Hey, at least NXT is looking good.
Yeah, well, you know what? Even when we were doing a review about that, it was like this wasn't as good as the past couple of takeovers have been. So I don't know what's going on in their fucking brains right now.
Yeah, and why hasn't Samoa Joe been on fucking tapings if he's not on the Royal Rumble? Come on, people. Fucking ruined it for me.
I don't know if they did that just to throw people off or if they did it because he had that little bit of an injury. Maybe he's not ready to wrestle again or something. I don't know, but disappointed with that.
Even Sin Cara would have been better at number 30, for fuck's sake.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to do us in for this. Make sure that you follow us on, obviously, the website itself, smarkoutmoment.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at smarkoutmoment. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already on YouTube. If you're on iTunes and Stitcher, go ahead to the YouTube channel and subscribe. Hit that little bell icon to get more notifications whenever we post up a video. The whole set of recordings that we're doing for this week are all over now, but we are going to be starting to do next week's Tuesday night, which is, as I mentioned before, when I'm going to be doing the hot tags and when I'm going to be revealing who won the Royal Rumble predictions contest, a breakdown of all that stuff. Then after that, got the Ask Him. After that, most likely going to be doing an Elimination Chamber Sporkle quiz. And I'm not sure yet, depending on how they announce everything for the Elimination Chamber. But next week might also have a Call the Spot, where it's the 5 people in the Elimination Chamber that aren't the champion right now that we rank. Maybe I would wait until the week after that for that. I'm not too positive. It kind of all depends. We got the Elimination Chamber predictions that'll be coming up that week after that anyway, so it's hard to kind of figure this stuff out, but we'll figure it out over the next few days, and you guys will get notifications whenever that happens. But that's where you're going to find all that stuff is on the YouTube channel and on the website. So if you keep going there, you'll keep seeing more, and then you can like it and follow and all that other kind of junk. Do the social media game. You should know it by now. If you want to follow me, you can follow me at Tony Mango and at a Mango Tree, and then for the Fanboys Anonymous stuff, at Fanboys Anonymous, which, by the way, I also have to start doing some more coverage of that. This is a busy-ass day for me. Screen Actors Guild Awards were today, and I did not post those up yet, so I have to go do that in a few minutes, but that's going to do us in for now. Thank you for listening, everybody. On behalf of Sean Walker and all the other people that couldn't be here tonight, this has been another Smark Out moment, and we're being counted out.